Beachtownians, transform and roll out.
Jesse and Bob are two dudes on the job to brighten your day while gabbing away on a pod. Forget your frown, let's see what's going down in Beachtown.
Whoa! Yay! What's going on, Beachtownians? We are bushwhacking our way through another episode 12 of the Beachtown Comedy Podcast. It is what it is. I am what I am. We are Jesse Egan and Bob. I am one of those guys. Jesse, what it is?
Hey, buddy. It's good to see you.
You too, buddy. We're rock and rolling, strolling, slamming, jamming, banging, banging.
I like see you're in the dewy meadow again. It's very dewy.
I'm loving my dewy meadow. I see if I see a meadow and it's not dewy, I turn the fuck around.
Forget it.
I don't waste any goddamn time.
I'm like that with knolls. If I ever see a knoll that's not a grassy knoll,
yeah,
I need a grassy knoll and a dewy meadow.
Yeah, totally. If you see an ungrassy knolls, a dirty knolls, a knolls full of weeds, an Eric knolls, any kind of knolls, you're avoiding that. I like Eric Knowles as a comedian. He used to live in San Diego. He's a good. I'm just joshing. I like Eric. It just worked with the name scheme there.
Yeah.
It'll teach us a lesson. Oh my goodness. What is this is a strange episode for us.
Is it?
Well, in a little way, because usually we have like a full week between us doing our grapes and what we've been. We're actually jumping the gun a little bit. We actually recorded 5 days ago.
That's right. Well, we were a little late, I think, on the last one. We're trying to get back on pace. And I was trying to see if there was any like mental health questions that we could ask, which is something maybe for next episode or something to present to the two listeners in Ireland. If anyone has any questions like that they think that we can take a stab at trying to answer for mental health, that might be that might be a new segment, is Jesse and Bob trying to answer your mental health questions with our lack of knowledge. And of course, at this point, I should say disclaimer, this is a mental health comedy podcast designed to cheer you up, but we have no official recognized talents in therapy. Oh, there's a cat. So if you need real professional help, make sure you seek it and don't just listen to us. But in the meantime, we're going to give it our best and try to deal with our own mental health on this podcast. Bob, do you want to start immediately into grapes?
Almost.
Okay.
To ask those questions, you can do a number of things. If you're a YouTube viewer, ask us in the comments. But if you want to be anonymous, I promise I'll actually check it. Use beachtowncomedy@gmail.com if you want to stay anonymous. Or if you just want to share anything, send it to us. Send us to the comments or tweet us at Beachtown Comedy. You could use any of those things depending on your comfort level of privacy and whatnot.
Yeah, and you could send us tips of things that you do for your mental health. You could send us questions about challenges to mental health that you wonder how we would respond to them. So really anything like that you think that you'd like to contribute to the show, we'll definitely take it into consideration and try to use it.
Yes. Movie suggestions too.
Movie suggestions. Okay.
We got more of those than anything else of suggestions. So
is that right?
Hey, that's great. We're glad you guys are. We hope you guys don't go crazy. Blah blah blah. Anyway, talk about this film. Yeah. Okay. I'm not doing Weekend at Bernie's 2 anytime soon. Okay,
good.
Let's drop this. I'm not saying it'll never happen. I'm saying it's not on the list.
Oh, well, I won't miss it.
Okay, fair enough.
But I'm looking forward to today's movie. I think that's going to be a fun one. Any other big announcements before we get started?
No, but if we are about to do our grapes, the other way to enjoy the fruits of your labor is add a little fruit to your beverage and enjoy Pepsi Mango. Pepsi Mango.
What? Where did you make that up? That can't be a real product.
I didn't. Wait a minute. Now hold the phone.
Where the hell did you get that?
Walmart.
They have everything.
That's where
Pepsi
I go for
Mango?
Everything. They have Pepsi Mango.
I mean, there's a demand enough that they actually created Pepsi Mango.
Hey, hang on a second.
Couldn't even keep new Coke around. I mean, Coke has like one flavor.
Because that was stupid. But this is Pepsi Mango.
That's dumb.
This is selling better than Pepsi Blue. Are you kidding me?
What color is the Pepsi Mango? I can't tell because of course
it's orange.
empty.
It's orange. It's orange. It's the color of a mango, Jesse.
Does it taste like mango?
Yes, it does taste like mango. It tastes like half mango, half Pepsi.
Have cola kind of flavor, but with some mango in there?
Pepsi Cola, okay. And you can learn more about this Pepsi Cola, mango flavored Pepsi Cola if you want to. Well, you know what they can do, Jesse? Should I tell them?
Yes, definitely tell them.
Go to Pepsi.com. Excuse me. https www.pepsi.com. It stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure. I don't have time to explain that right now.
You just did.
But it's oh God, is it? I think it's port 450 on the TCP. Okay, forget it. Anyway, go to Pepsi.com /mango. Enter the promo code Beachtown. Do you know what happens? Would you like to know what happens?
Absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing. Say it again. Pepsi.com. Look at that. I headbutted Pepsi Mango.
Yeah, it's funny. You know, when Bajan and I used to teach stand-up comedy, we would tell people, like, you know, use the shortest amount of words to explain something. Like, we'd say, if you're going to tell someone, like, to go across the street to McDonald's, you just say, go outside, go across the street to McDonald's. You don't say, walk over to the front door, turn the knob, pull the door open. But I'm like, but that's the way Bob would do it.
Yeah, that's totally right. Well,
because like https /
because there's one
turn
Bob
on your computer.
I'm like Godzilla. There's one of me.
That's true. That's true.
It's like two dogs fucking on the side of the road.
It's just like that. I call you Bobzilla. That's fantastic. So we got a brand new product, Pepsi Mango. I guess I'm wondering,
I'm so sorry.
What other flavors do they have that I've never heard of? Is there a number of weird Pepsi flavors that are out there? Because I had no idea there was blue. Is there like what other Pepsi cinnamon? What kind of crappy weird Pepsi?
If I see a Pepsi cinnamon, I'm buying that motherfucker.
Yeah, I know, sure. Yeah.
I mean, there's a Pepsi vanilla.
Okay, that's normal. What about Pepsi cherry? That's like
there's wild cherry Pepsi. That's been around for years. That's absolutely delicious.
Okay, no, those are kind of regular. But I'm talking about these weird mango and blue. And is blue supposed to be blueberry or just blue?
Blue.
Okay.
Just take it easy.
No relation to any fruits or.
That's just Let's throw the baby out with the bathwater right there.
Do they do a Pepsi red for like the Bloods? How do they leave them out?
But that's why they have wild cherry Pepsi, which might be arguably the greatest soft drink ever made.
All right. Well, we'll get some more answers on these.
I'm so happy
Pepsi
right now.
Yeah.
I'm so thrilled that we spent time on this.
All right. Well, let's segue into our own mental health because you've already started in on making me crazy today. So
yes, I've dug us a hole. Let's rebuild.
Let's try to get out of this and get our mental health back up, and let's do our grapes.
We ain't doctors, we ain't saviors. Now enjoy the fruits of your labor. Oh, yeah.
Now, for those that haven't watched or listened to the show before, G.R.A.P.E.S is an acronym that's we use to work on our mental health. It stands for G, gentle with self, R, relaxation, A, accomplishment, P, pleasure, E, exercise, and S for social. And the idea is that if you track and do a little bit of each one of those every day, it's very beneficial for your mental health. And so we've been trying it to various degrees. And this week, let's see how we did. I didn't take any notes, so we'll just kind of off the top of the dome it.
But, I did. I took these notes about the questions.
Good. Then you should lead us off. Where do you want to start? You want to start with G, or you want to go in reverse?
Let's do reverse. We did the standard grapes in order a few weeks in a row.
Yeah.
Why the hell not?
All right. Well, we're going to start with social, which I think is one that we sometimes struggle with. Social is especially during the pandemic. You know.
Yes.
How do you get your social in when you're quarantining?
You got to rock your social.
Yeah, you got to rock the social. You got to lounge.
You got to be out there, Daddy. You got to be schmoozing, networking, rubbing elbows, greasing palms, baby doll. You got to whistle Dixie, wax philosophical, shoot the shit and chew the fat. You got to do your social, Daddy.
Is this your social for the week? Is this podcast, or do you have any other?
No, I had a good social. My good buddy, New York comedian Brian Yang, who oddly enough, in August of 2012, when I moved from San Diego to New York, he moved from Sacramento, Northern California, for those of you out of the States, to New York City. So we both moved from different parts of California to New York in August of 2012 to do stand-up, and we were both obviously colossal wrestling fans, so we hit it off. I went to countless Friendsgivings, pre-Thanksgivings events.
Oh, cool.
At him and his now his wife Chelsea's house. So it was very cool to have him visit. He was in town working. He was working for a large, I don't want to name it, but it's a large multi-billion-dollar sports entertainment / pro wrestling company that I don't want to name.
Is there more than one? How many are there?
I'm just saying.
There's probably there's the big one, and then there's probably the Pepsi Blue one.
There's the Pepsi Blue. There's a few of those. No, he works for the big one. It's fine. I could say that. I can't say what he does, but I will say that he works there. So
does he wrestle? No.
Hey, no. But anyway, he came over Sunday night to watch a wrestling event that was on a WWE network, which is now on Peacock for only $5 a month with limited commercial interruption. You get your first month free if you subscribe today. But he came over. It was cool because we went to countless Madison Square Garden shows and Barclays Center shows together.
Awesome.
So, it was really cool to like full circle because I'm a very failed pro wrestler from years ago, and now he's working within this large company. So, weird things have come full circle, like almost like the mentor student teacher kind of relationship kind of switched, which is cool. I don't even mind that. It's like whatever. My time is past. But we
got to fight the Moondogs.
He didn't fight the Moondogs.
No, I didn't think he fought.
I fought the Moondogs. Okay, and I'm paying the price for that. I pinned Moondog Molson in McKeesport, Pennsylvania, but that isn't me.
So he came over, and you guys got to watch the new event.
Yes, and then later Monday night, I took him out for fish tacos. Close by the Pacific Ocean over there.
How did he like that?
He loved it. He had some shrimp. I had some mahi, which I bought. I got the mahi because to celebrate the job. When I was not working, I just got the mahi.
When you were jobless, you just got a singular mahi.
Yeah, it's
but
soft,
now that you've got work, you're doubling up on the mahis.
And I'd put in my headphones for some 80s jams. I would only listen to one Duran. It was just not going to happen. But
now you can listen to Duran Squared again. That's good.
But it was cool just to catch up with see a New York face without having to travel. And I do love that worlds colliding when cool, a face from across the nation from the other coast is here to just schmooze and catch up and tell me what's going on in more than just text form.
Yeah, that's great.
So it was cool, just live and in living color to see a familiar face and a good friend. So
that's a terrific
good
social. I mean, last week you got to see another best friend in Luigi. So I mean, you've really had a good
the God of Thunder. My social's getting good. Next week I'll have jack shit for social, but I got some shows coming up. No, I got some shows coming up, so I'll have something.
Yeah, I think that's the only real social special. So I basically walk around OB and avoid people, but like if I see someone I know, I'll talk to them. But at the shows you get to mingle a little bit with the comics, which is nice. And I did a show at Coomer Wines in Oceanside, and it was a really weird show. I was going to tell you that the first time I did the show, they had us in the back on a big stage with a light, and the whole thing was amazing. And then I get there this time, and they're like, noise complaints. They stopped us from using the stage out back. So now you're on the floor in the middle of like the dining room in front of a big window, kind of like Winston's, where there was literally homeless people pressed up against the glass staring in at you performing.
And they're waiting to do the open mic.
They're waiting to have the leftover mic. But so it was a challenge. It was bright in there. It wasn't on a stage. It didn't have a spotlight. It didn't have I always tell people, like, there's something different. Like, even if the stage is like this, an inch or two high, it still gives you a little bit of extra attention and momentum, and people pay attention to what you're saying better than if you're just standing on the floor. If they're sitting in a stool and they're taller than you are, they generally are much more apt to ignore you. But
absolutely,
it was a really weird crowd. There was like a woman wearing a mask just on her nose, which I'd never seen. I mean, that's the opposite. You see people wearing the mask down here with their nose out. Now she had one just across the nose. I was like, what's going on there? And she goes, oh, I got a sinus thing. And I'm like, that doesn't explain anything. So
you know who else has a sinus thing? The world.
Yeah. And she was sitting next to a guy who was decked out. He was like this old guy. He goes, I'm Italian. And he looked like a mafia guy. He was like really mafiaed out. Yeah. He had like dark shades on. That
might indoors. Be racist, but go ahead.
Yeah, it might be. He just had that. He was dressed. I've been watching a lot of Sammy the Bull videos. So anyway, it was weird. It was that. Then there was a young group that came in late, and there was 3 of them, and they kept talking. So I kept referring to them as a threesome. And then afterwards, they came over to me, and one of the girls said, we're old friends, and these 2 are a couple, but I was kind of thinking about threesome, and then you kept saying threesome. So hopefully there can be a threesome. So I may have created an actual threesome for the first time. My comedy career.
That's a shame, because you could have also used that for accomplishment later.
I know I could.
If you got confirmation of the said threesome, hopefully that's a goal. Maybe that's a goal for the future, is to create as many threesomes as possible.
Yeah, totally.
If you're in the comments, if you're in the for our people, try to have in a YouTube viewers or the Podomatic listeners, try to have some threesomes in the comments.
Yeah, let us know also if you've ever been at a comedy show and a comedian has actually created a threesome out of a crowd. So I'd like to know if I'm the first orgy generating comedian. But yeah, it was a weird crowd. There was a dog on the floor that looked like it was dead. It was just laying there. I was like, somebody check on that dog. But I mean, that was sort of a little bit of social. My other real social was the one in Bay Park. We did a speakeasy show. So it was like at Neil Sting's backyard, full of people, and they were all dressed like cabaret flapper kind of things.
Yes.
That was like the vibe, was this speakeasy vibe. Very cool. And I got to see Dewey Bratcher, who's obviously one of my best friends. He was on the tour when we did the East Coast tour, the Home Cook Comedy Tour.
That's right.
Got to see Mark Christopher Lawrence, Neil Singh, and mingle a little bit, hang out with them in the green room, which was actually Neil's living room.
Sure.
And the funniest part about that show was that Neil did his set, and then he said what you always say when you're done really with your set, which is like, well, I got to get out of here. And then he just walked into his kitchen. He's like, I got to go. I'm like, because I went on after, so I'm like going, I think it's funny that Neil said, I got to go. And then he just walked into his home. And now we can see him staring at us through the window. I'm like, I got to get out of here. And he's like,
I got somewhere to be.
I got to go. I got to go to the bathroom. I got to go take a crap, take a little quick nap in my bedroom, and then I'll be back for the end of the show. It was just so Netflix, funny because you're so used to saying that, that you're like, oh, I gotta, I'm short on time. I gotta get home. It's right there,
That's always funny to me. That reminds me of those comedy things. Like whenever someone has a joke, and this is why you shouldn't write jokes this lazily, is when someone has a joke that says, hey, listen, it's 2020. I can't believe we're still blah, 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 blah. And then January of 2021 rolls around, and they still, out of habit, because they're just saying their thing. Oh, listen, it's 2020, yada, yada. And everyone knows. I don't care if it's January 2nd or January 31st. It doesn't matter. You still sound like an idiot every time. And you never know. That's the thing. The speaker, the comic, never knows why, because in their head, they're just saying their thing that should get a laugh.
Yes.
And the audience is more in the moment than the comic in that moment, and going, hey, because audiences tend to think even when you're a casual storytelling type of comedian, whatever, audiences tend to think that you're just talking to them into a microphone, because a good comedian makes you think he or she is just talking to you. I just like doing that. Yes.
Fluid. I don't know what I'm saying. You can cut this out.
I think I might. I don't know. No, I don't want to. If we offend those 2 guys in Ireland, which are not 2 guys in Ireland, but it's become a thing. That's like Scuba Pete in Indiana. Really enjoyed last week's show as well. So,
Scuba Pete
in Indiana. Oh, he's absolutely tremendous. I don't know where in Indiana he scuba dives. I'm gonna ask him.
Yeah, really. It's funny. You talk about saying the wrong date.
Yeah.
On stage, or the wrong like the wrong city, like thank you Cleveland, and you're like in Pittsburgh or whatever. I think I told you the story when I went to Yuma, Arizona with Dave Wright, how he just couldn't stop referring to them. He goes, you people in California. And I'm going, first of all, his whole act is like, I'm from the East Coast. And I'm like, you've been here for 20 freaking like, stop doing that. Because he's like, you Californians. I'm like, you're wearing flip-flops. Like, but so we're in Arizona and he keeps referring to them as like, you people in California. And they're looking at each other like, does he know where he is? And then he started it on the wall in Arizona. He's like, yeah, you go build the stupid wall. And they're like, ooh, we love the wall. Like they hated him. In fact, a biker took him outside and was like, so you got a problem with our President Trump? And it was like, he's like, no, you people in California. No, or whatever. He just tried to backpedal out of it. But I was like, Dave, I was driving home and I go, Dave, we drove all the way out here. We're in Arizona. Like,
do you remember the 8-hour drive here?
Arizona,
whatever it was, 8-10. I don't know how fucking long ago.
Yeah,
but
you Californians with your veganism and your hot yoga and it's like, Dave, they drove motorcycles to get here, all of them. Like, please shut up.
That wall you're talking about, there are couples here who carved their initials in it.
The thing that warmed up our show was line dancing. They were like country line dance. How do you think you're still in? Like, what do you open your eyes? It's like, you Californians. Anyway, let me stop picking on Dave.
Oh, poor Dave. That's hilarious, though. I just got done living there in the East Coast, like New York City, East Coast for 8 years, and I don't do it that much on stage. I mention it if the joke needs it. I say I was just there, and then otherwise, who cares? Because it doesn't really. But obviously, if it's 8 years is a long time. It's a part of you, so you. Yeah. But if you've been here and just here in Southern California, San Diego, or LA for 20-something years.
For 20-something years.
Yeah, it's like you don't get the. Sorry, I'm not sharing the cred there. That's mine. That's I get that. That's mine. Not anyone else.
From South Philly. It's called Tijuana.
It's called Delaware.
It's called.
Poor Dave. I'm sorry, Dave.
Anyway, Dave, you don't listen to this, so that's fine. But
he's so short.
But it was really funny. So that was our S. Jeez, that took a long time.
We did.
Okay.
Well, I think our E's are going to go pretty quick.
E's are going to go pretty quick just because all I did was some swimming. But I did motivate Anna to go with me one day, which was nice because we get home from work. She's at work now, back at school, and get home after a long day and you're kind of like, I just want to chill. But it's like, come on, let's go swim. So I pushed us, and hopefully she'll push me the next time when I don't want to go. But it was really nice. Yeah. Right in the pool. So that's my E. I did some walking to the pier and some swimming of the pool, and that was it for me.
Keep doing that. I love that, man. Walking and swimming. Well, my E is walking and swimming. So nice. How about that? Like yesterday I did just a 20-something minutes of walking, which isn't much, but then I swam around the pool for another half hour.
Oh, good.
So I did a lot of that. I'm working on my hernia. I got my hernia girdle arrived from Amazon yesterday. Amazon is like a giant online retailer. I don't have time to explain that right now.
Heard of it.
But yeah, it's popular. Kids like it. But
so what's this girdle do?
So it's like, I was worried it was going to be like a diaper, and thankfully it's not, because it doesn't cover like my buttocks and nether regions. So it doesn't feel like a diaper, but it feels like what if I was an undercover cop, and I was only interested in protecting my dick and nuts from bullets and nothing else.
They're like, you're going in there. All right, cover your nuts.
Listen, don't worry about the bullet thing, protecting thing that goes over your chest. You're not a SWAT team member that needs like a helmet and a thing. No. Just put the thing over your groin, and that's it. These bad guys,
your vital organs. This criminal only goes for the nuts.
These bad guys only shoot you in the dick. Only. That's all. That's what it feels like. So I hope it's helping. It's been less than 24 hours I've been using the thing, but I hope it's a lot of people. There are stories of doing that with some proper exercises that I'm not quite ready yet for. I don't think. That can hopefully not make you need surgery.
Is this where the phrase "gird your loins" came from? Is the
I don't know, but I had a grandma Gerda, G.R.A.P.E.S. So girdle sounds like that.
It does,
and there's really no reason to make that connection otherwise.
Did she protect your loins?
I don't think so. No. She was German, and she made some meat, and everyone else in my family was Italian, so there was like a discrepancy of quality food. The poor Grandma Gerda was awesome. I feel so bad, but whatever. She was very tall. She was she was tolerant of my foolishness. She sanctioned my buffoonery. So,
what was that from? That was Tommy Lee Jones?
Yes, the Tommy Lee Jones, Jim Carrey story when they were working together on Spider-Man 2.
On
Batman,
where he's Two-Face, and he hated Jim Carrey, and he tried to find out why.
Yes.
Tommy Lee Jones said, "I will not sanction your buffoonery."
Yes.
That's amazing.
Remind me before we do At the Theater. I have another thing I want to mention about Spider-Man 2, but we should let's keep it. So we did our E's went pretty fast. What about P for Pleasure? I wrote one down, but I am unorganized.
I started a threesome.
You started a threesome.
No, I don't really.
Pleasure.
Yeah, well, we went out for dinner last night to the holding company and sat up on the roof and had a little cocktail that came with a tiny little sombrero, which I wore on my head. And it was my big pleasure for the week was going out with Anna and having dinner together. It was nice.
I saw that. Well, hats off to you.
Thank you.
It's a play on words. It was related to the thing you said. For pleasure, I attended a live episode at the Pachanga Sports Arena in San Diego, California, at a live WWE Monday Night Raw.
Wow, cool.
Very cool. TV tapings are a lot. I forgot how horrible and disgusting wrestling fans are.
You did? How did you forget that?
I don't know, because I just been watching it at home for so long, and for so many times for my social, I mentioned my buddy Brian. I'd always have him to go to the shows with. This one, and I've gone to these arena things by myself a few times in the past, but at this point, I'm just getting older. I'm crankier. I got my hernia, which I'm worried about, and it's a long show. You're sitting there for 4 hours, and you're in this chair, and it's I'm not feeling too comfortable, so I was a little banged up, but it was cool to see live wrestling again. And just hear people cheer and go crazy and have saliva and probably mucus and sweat fly off of them, and just watch everyone get excited, and all these kids and these adults with their parents and children together get excited about nachos and cheese and chips with salt, and stand around and not understand how to figure out where their seat is because they don't understand section, rows, and seats, and just watch them be befuddled and just watch their brains rot into a pile of nachos and day drinking, and just to see just how horrible humanity has really come. But there were some good matches too, so that was my pleasure.
That's not so there were some good matches. What can you tell us of the best match that you saw, or who was in it, or anything in details? I could tell
you this particular detail. As a guest, they had YouTube sensation Logan Paul, who I guess is he's not as big a YouTube sensation as we are, I don't think, but he's got X number of millions of followers, and him and his brother sometimes do celebrity boxing on network television, and it's an interpromotional blah 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 blah. Anyway, every time he talked, he got booed out of the building. They wouldn't let him talk. It was tremendous. I like seeing pretty boys receive hatred. Did we mention this is the mental health podcast here to cheer you up? But aside from that, I left feeling humanity was doomed. But and also, this is actually disturbing. We were sitting really close to. Well, I was sitting. Well, you all were in my section, but really close to the fireworks with the concussion blasts. I actually have a little bit of a gripe, a serious one. I don't think human beings should actually be sitting next to these freakishly loud. My right ear was killing me for the rest of the night, for the rest of the next day. And it's very startling. Even if you're a grown like adult, it's really, really bad. I know there might be people in there with PTSD. And me, I just had concussions from wrestling. I get headaches really easy, as you know. So right away, like we're 40 minutes into the show and I'm hurt. I knew it was going to be a long one. So people, especially when other half the section was tarped off because it wasn't sold out. So people could have sat there, but it looks better on camera if you shove them all in this section. So that means people are next to these big explosions. And not kind of hurt. Yeah, it kind of hurt. The shame because the ticket was such a lovely, generous gift. And
I mean, you must remember how little regard for your safety they had when you were wrestling. Like,
right.
I don't think that pro wrestling is known for preserving people's health or
No. And
keeping you from getting hurt. It's like,
no, everyone who goes gets hurt, no matter what side of the guardrail you're on. We must make sure everyone leaves injured in some form or fashion.
I like watching interview. I watched a couple of YouTube interviews where somebody like says to the wrestler, it's fake, and then the wrestler slaps the crap out of him, or
yes,
like Roddy Piper starts taking off his showing all his injuries. Is that fake? And you're like, oh man, I can't wait.
You're talking about Roddy Piper on the Bill Maher show in 2003.
Yes,
I believe.
Yes.
There's another beautiful one. I think maybe references. If I remember, I'll put a link in our comments for YouTube. Anyway, Dr. D. David Schultz slapping John Stossel of Fox News. Was it Fox? No, maybe it was ABC. My bad. I think it was ABC. 1985. That's a wonderful, beautiful clip where I still insist David Schultz was 1,000% correct to do so. Yeah. 1,000. And Stossel would go and whine to Barbara Walters. He hurt my ear, yada yada yada. But he deserved every bit of it, and I'm glad he got hurt. Mental health podcast.
Yeah, totally. So those that's our peas. Pea. Those are good peas. Yeah,
great peas.
You had a good long pea. What's the next letter? I can't think backwards.
It is A.
Okay. A, accomplishment. Jeez. Ooh, you go first.
I'll jump in. Okay. So for one of my
threesome. No, I don't.
So I was at this comedy show trying to have a threesome with a couple. And this dude, during one of my shitty job interviews, this one was down in El Cajon, which is in Mexico. No, it's Chula Vista, which is El Cajon is not that close. Chula Vista is in Mexico, and I went down there for a job interview, and I didn't get the job. But on the way back, the Google Maps, I was using that to get home because I don't really know Chula Vista so well. I guess sent me across a toll road where I got a ticket. Even though I don't for not paying a toll, even though I don't remember a toll booth that looked like an easy pass if you're on the East Coast or anything like that. I was just on some road, and now I made sure my Google Maps has toll roads turned off. But I got a ticket, and this ticket I got in the mail like 6 weeks ago. Instead of $2, it was like now it's like $42 or whatever. So it's not the end of the world, but it annoyed me, and this is one of those things. I was staring at it for like weeks and weeks and weeks. Just pay because I have to go get a stamp to mail the thing, and these stupid little chores that add up. Like, what a pain in the ass, and I'll do it next time I'm out, and you always forget. And it's one of those things that just and it annoys you every time you just walk past your own kitchen or whatever. It annoys you 5 times a day for weeks, and you never do anything about it. Just a few hours ago, I did something about it. I paid the thing via check. I went to a Postmates store, which is has the same USPS services with no markup, believe it or not. So I really appreciated that. And I just got the damn thing out of the way.
That's good.
And now there's because if you go past a certain date, then $42 becomes $100.
Yeah, it just keeps going up until they just take your car.
And then a month after that, they kill your registration of the DMV. So I just paid it, and because I know I'm going to forget when I start the new job next week. I'm going to forget a lot of shit. So
yeah,
this is over. It sounds like a little thing, but just like cleaning and whatnot, those little things, they can
little things make a huge difference, man.
Yes.
And mentally they're like a little worm in your brain that won't let go. That just won't let you calm down and relax because you've got this thing that's hanging over you. So sometimes I feel so overwhelmed, but like just doing one tiny task like that will help knock that feeling down a little bit. So I think that's great. Like that's why they say your accomplishment could be something small. Like I got up and I made the bed today, or I did the dishes, or really anything, even if it's like you're really down and just getting up is an A. But that's good that you took care of that. Cause like you say, man, those bills just keep compounding. I forgot one show that I did. I think my A will be, I drove up to Temecula to do a show at Hobo Barbecue. And it was one of those classic situations where when you get there, the owners of the venue tell you, you should have been here last week. It was packed. Which I'm thinking never like helps. Changing that to my intro,
Never helps. And also, no, it wasn't. That's another thing. That's never true.
How do you want me to bring you up? Just tell them you guys should have been here last week. It was friggin' packed and the show was great. But yeah, so there was like 9 people in this little dark Hobo Barbecue, and I'm going to say this: my accomplishment is I gave him a show. I did not give up. I didn't treat it like it was a mic. I didn't treat it like crap. I just treated it like it was so dark in there, I really couldn't see them. So I just imagined that it was just a packed house, and I just kind of tried to be as pro as possible. Even did a little ad-libbing and crowd work in the dark with shadow people. But I to me, that's a big A, is that, I didn't go in with a bad attitude and sort of leave feeling upset. In fact, I was really stoked on how well it went. It was a lot of fun, and I had a guy come up and tell me afterwards that he came up at the Comedy Store La Jolla like 20 years ago. He hasn't done comedy in forever, but we commiserated a little bit. He knew Lou Brockman, or he knew of him, and he knew some of the old heads at the Comedy Store, and I thought that was pretty cool. That he really appreciated that we gave him a pro show. He said nobody phoned it in, and so I think that's a good A, is that give them what they didn't pay for. I guess, I don't know. You give them a good show when you're there, especially when you drive an hour to Temecula. You might as well go for it.
I love hearing that. So I'm glad you use that as an A. I love hearing that. It does drive me bananas, especially in stand-up comedy, when everyone says, comedians, I'm saying, are like, well, this is not a shit show yet, but it will be. It's a shit scenario. We'll put it that way. It's
now I'm going to make it a shit show,
and I'm going to make sure it's a shit show. And to me, that's kind of like a cowardly defense mechanism of let me throw the thing, so that I really think it's so other comedians can't see that you're not capable of making it good. So they just throw it as a self-defense. Like, look, I don't want the other comedians to know that we all have that I have the same imposter syndrome that they do. So let me just throw the thing. It's like when someone does a new joke and tells the audience it's a new joke and it probably won't work, and you guys are guinea pigs, and it's definitely not going to work now. It's like a monkey fucking a football. It's not going to happen.
Everything is like that.
I'll explain why at a later date. That's fine. But to throw in the towel like immediately, to me, it's always like a cowardly defense mechanism. I like, and this has probably worked against me. It definitely worked against me in New York. I was a die on the sword type of guy, if you could believe that. I was always like, nah, this is war. It's us. We have to make sure this is a bonding thing together, and we're all and no one cared at all. No, there was no bonding. They were just let's toss it because so and so books a semi-cool bar show, and we don't want them to see us bomb, or we don't want them to see us try and bomb, so we'll purposely bomb and try to make somebody laugh at comedy and then get booked. And it would work, and it's actually why I have no career. But you have to try.
By the way,
you have to try.
You have to try. What did when you saw Brian Yang, did you guys talk at all about New York comedy, or did you guys discuss like how you've tried to burn a bridge with an entire state?
Well, hold on. New York City, no one in New York City is empathetic enough to care what the rest of the state actually does.
Okay.
As far as they're concerned, there is no New York State, according to anyone who lives in New York City. They're embarrassed the state exists. They're like, how dare you? So that wouldn't be applicable. Like there's a Long Island comedy scene which New York City doesn't acknowledge. Actually, I don't blame them for that. There's a Jersey City which is right on the river. Like you could literally see New York City over the river from that, and they have their thing going on. But it's like their thing is like San Diego. It's cool, but it's not going to overshadow New York because San Diego's right below LA. LA is always going to be this big cloud over, and same thing with a lot of those little cities around New York City. It's going to be one of those things. I've trailed off there. I don't really know.
Well, I don't know. I think we wrapped up our A though. That's for sure.
Our A was good.
Our A was good. And what's before A?
R. Well, we have.
This one's boring. This is just I couldn't sleep at all last night, and if I don't exercise during the day, I sleep very poorly. So I feel like that's a very big link for my R. I don't know. I didn't get a good night's rest last night. How about you? You doing all right with that?
Well, we have R for relaxation, and the one after it, of course, the easier one is G for gentle with oneself. Mm-hmm. So for my GNR, I bought this GNR Guns N' Roses t-shirt.
You cheater.
No, I'm not using that. I'm not using it. I thought that was funny.
That is funny.
I just thought it was fun to mess with you. I've been waiting for 3 days to do that joke.
That's right.
It's killing me. My G and I bought this for the Guns and/or Roses, whatever you identify with more, I suppose.
Bob was out there waiting in the cold November rain.
Well, nothing lasts forever there. I was wearing his shirt at Walmart, and this dude I don't know clearly he looks at my shirt and he goes, "Welcome to the jungle," like, which is like, okay, you know the band and the song. It's not like this underground.
Walmart greeters are getting weird.
Yeah, they are. It's not like this underground indie band that both of us happen to have a shirt of, and there's like 8 T-shirts in existence. I think they're a fairly well-known thing that I don't need to know that you know who Guns N' Roses are, and that "Welcome to the Jungle" is one of their songs. That's kind of a thing. Okay, with Relaxation.
You gotta just respond.
My knees are killing me nowadays.
Knees.
I have knee arthritis.
I got hernia pain.
I need a hernia girdle now. So my relaxation, I'm doing better with getting the 8 hours so that I don't need a nap in the middle of the day. The problem is I start work next week and I'm getting 8 hours, but the 8 hours is from like 2 to 10. And that has to be kind of shoved. And it will, because you need a reason to wake up and a reason to go to bed. And left to my own devices, I will sleep 2 to 10 for the rest of my life if I have nowhere to be. And I'm still only 8 hours. It's not like, I'm just sleeping until 10 every day. It's not like I'm going to bed at 10 and waking up at 10. So, but still, I'm going to have to shift it. Tomorrow, I have to be there at 10 just to pick up equipment. It's going to be a remote job where I just change the channels for people all day. So it's going to be one of those. So I have to pick up equipment. So I have to be there at 10. So I'll get up at like 8, 7:30, I hope, 8 probably. And at least that'll be the kick in the ass. Because I'll wake up at 6:30 or 7 naturally to urinate out of my penis like a man. So, which is how men do it.
A lot of information.
Well, I need to, it's like Luke Brockman says, you got to paint a visual. You got to tell them the story. And so I need to paint the visual so you understand what I'm talking about.
I don't need that visual.
Well, I'm trying to be a good comedian here. So I'll wake up anyway naturally, but I'll set the alarm and do that. But we'll go over right to my G since I'm at my G&R. I'm putting them together.
That's good.
I'm putting them together. My agenda with oneself is I was very honest. I went to Walmart, if you could believe that. I did
not believe it.
A few days ago, I bought a lamp for my soon to be home office area, my home office corner next to my G.I. Joes.
I think you're single-handedly keeping Walmart in business, Bob.
I might have. I bought all the Pepsi Blue. I texted you to tell you there's no Pepsi Blue anymore.
I think what happened is there was an article that came out saying more people are buying things from Amazon than Walmart, and Bob was like, "We're going to balance that out."
Totally. Anyway, I had trouble with my card and the self checkout thing, and I wanted $20 back. I got my $20 back, but there was something. I think my first transaction had been voided, and then accepted the second one. I couldn't really tell if I paid for the stuff, is what I'm saying. I got the $20 bill that I asked for out of my account. That was good because that's a nightmare to prove you get. I'm sure people scam them all the time. But I wasn't 100% sure I paid for the thing. So, Walmart on the way out, they have those receipt checkers who only check the black people's receipts. It's true. They totally do, by the way. Walmart.
Is that right?
That's my opinion. I go to Walmart 5 times a week. And let me tell you something.
5 times a week?
That's another, because I'm looking for toys to see if they update the toys.
Oh my God. You're there every day.
Every other day. So 4 times a week. So every other day. Yeah. But anyway, dude, several times. I swear to you, I have walked by. I'll buy nothing just because they didn't have any new He-Mans or whatever. I'll buy nothing and they don't look at my thing, or I'll have a bag full of stuff. I'll have my receipt out. I always have it out. They will always look past me and ask the least white person around to see their receipt. Every goddamn time. I swear to God, they do this.
Wow.
That's their job. And
new,
if you have
new racism that I'd never heard of. So is that, are the Walmart greeter or the people that check those receipts, are they of different ethnicities, or are they all white?
Yeah, they're different ethnicities. I don't see. But anyway, so I went to the receipt checker lady, and I told her, I went to her, she was going to just let me walk the fuck out. I went to her, I said, hey, I'm not 100% sure I paid for this. Can you help me out and just read this thing, what it says? Because it's really tiny print too. I can't see the damn thing. I just want to make sure I paid you for this because I'm a little iffy on it. And she took the receipt to somebody else, came back in 2 minutes and said, you're good. I said, okie dokie. I got the fuck out of there.
And then she went and harassed some black people?
Then probably, yeah. She probably did. I guess there's only, with the exception of white people, there's only one color that they really do appreciate there, and that color is blue. I'm so pleased.
Oh my God!
That's what I don't care if there's one blue person who comes in. If there's two blue people,
it's a whole bunch of Smurfs.
You never know. You never know. Well, as long as nothing stupid happens, as long as nobody bought the third and last Pepsi Blue. Look at
really
the blue.
Like that stuff.
Do you see the blue? Okay.
Is that a diet product or is that a full sugar blue?
There's no diet Pepsi Blue.
You're gonna give your.
When there is.
You can give yourself blue gout with that.
I probably am. Oh well.
Wow. So that's what the heck was that? Was that G? Where
that
are
was
we?
G. I'm done with all mine. I think you have a G to go.
Oh, you're lucky. Okay. Well, I think my G. I'm good at identifying voices. I'm an auditory learner, so like I can remember lines from The Simpsons from 100 years ago just from the way that they said it. You know, like if the character speaking the line just says it straight, then I won't remember it. But if it's like Chief Wiggum, he's like, I'm in pursuit of the offending women. HQ, this is Papa Bear. Yeah, Chief, what's your position? I'm on a road, looks to be asphalt. I'm directly under the Earth's sun now. Yeah. Like I remember that line from 100 friggin' years ago because of just his the impression of he's like the Edward G. Robinson impression that he's doing with that voice. So we're watching the What If show, which I know you hated the first one, but
yes,
they have a lot of characters that are voiced by the original actors from Marvel, and then some that are not, but they are very good voice actors that are imitating the original. And I'm listening to it, and I can tell which ones are real and which ones are fake. Telling Anna that she's like, "Wow, that's really amazing." So that's I can't. I'm not a visual learner. I will get lost in my own neighborhood driving around. I don't remember anything visually, but auditory. I mean, I can learn through, like when I used to memorize lines from plays, I would record my voice saying them and then listen to it back, and then I would memorize it easily. So it's an interesting thing. I don't know if that's a good G, if that's a gentle with self, but it's a compliment. I'm good at voices, good at learning. Yeah, it's a talent of recognizing and remembering the accents and the little inflections that people use, and then roll out.
Yes.
But anyway, so that's my good. G, and I think that's our grapes for the day. That was pretty good grapes.
That is a pretty good grapes. I know we squished them good. That is a good G. It's probably good for stand-up comedy too, because you meet way too many people, and sometimes you just can't remember them, and maybe you hear them on stage and like, oh, you say the thing and you say it like this, and maybe you could it helps you recall. Because you're much better at remembering like other people. Oh, so and so does the bit with the yada yada, and I'm always like, who in the bluest of blue fuck is that? And you're like, you've met them 12 times together. I have a little trouble.
And however, I could meet someone in person and not, remember like their face. It just sort of like my memory is terrible. But if they spoke and I hear what they, and I remember the voice, then I'll get it.
Okay. No, I understand. Yeah. Before we do movies, and this is going long, I'm going to make it much worse. This cracked me up so much that I just had to bring this up on a podcast yesterday or the day before. Do you recall? And of course you do. I'm setting this up. Remember years ago, the great comedian Joey
That
Diaz,
waiter?
Yeah, I love that coffee.
That cafe?
Jean-Luc. Okay. Do you remember years ago, Joey Diaz performed at Winston's in Ocean Beach?
He destroyed the bathroom.
Yes, I would do that bit. He destroyed that. Our good friend, always amazing.
Amazing.
And he was a regular. More recently, he's been a regular on the Joe Rogan podcast and all that kind of stuff. The reason I bring him up is because do you remember when our buddy Stephen Kendrick introduced him? And at the time, now keep in mind, Spider-Man 2 came out in 2005. This would have happened in 2007 or so. So Spider-Man 2 was a really new movie. There was no Marvel Universe yet, none of that. And Steven would always mention Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 2 on all the posters, all the promotion, the media. You probably made the posters. I don't remember, most likely. And he's always going on. And you remember Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 2, Dr. Octopus, and Joey Diaz, if you remember. And Dr. Octopus is in the news because there's a new Spider-Man trailer out.
You want to get to him, you got to go through me.
Right. And I think Diaz was suggested that his hand was the one that pulled Spider-Man like kind of by the chest to stop him from falling off the above ground drain when he saved their life.
Joey's a hero, baby.
Joey's a hero, which also makes me wonder if Joey Diaz is now part of the Marvel universe. But that notwithstanding, this made us laugh for years. After going on about Spider-Man 2, forever and ever and ever, we get to the show, and Stephen Kendrick introduces, you know him from Superman 2, Joey Cokie Bucket Diaz, and then I don't think he knew, and we laughed. So we laughed. We're still laughing for years to this day. This made
Superman 2.
This made me laugh so fucking hard.
Joey Diaz, he goes, you know what he was in Superman 2? He goes, kneel before Zod, cocksuckers.
Yeah, that's the thing. So we were sending. I was sending you endless texts yesterday. I think it was of what Joey Diaz would do in Superman 2, just because Spider-Man 2 was in the news, and I think of that all the time. They got us in this motherfucking fate. You said Jesse Egan. They got us in this motherfucking Phantom Zone, this tiny little motherfucking square.
We're in the Phantom Zone, Joe Rogan.
Phantom Zone, Joe Rogan. We are so fucking crammed. Joe Rogan. General Zod has got his head shoved up my ass. He's snorting the gram of cocaine I got shoved up my asshole, Joe Rogan. Science. This motherfucker. Oh, this Ursa chick with General Zod. This motherfucker. Joe Rogan. She got this. You'll never hear me talk like this again, I swear. But it's like Joe Rogan.
This would be the only thing to improve Superman 2.
Joe Rogan, Ursa General, she got this pussy so hairy. Joe Rogan, I'm so sorry. It's like I'm parting of seas. Once a month I'll part the motherfucking Red Seas like I'm Moses. Joe Rogan, I'm motherfucking Ursa. I don't give a fuck. Joe Rogan.
That's a good impression.
Planet Houston, motherfucker. I always say how fuck. That's New York. It's Houston Street. Planet Houston, motherfuckers. He's a Planet Houston, motherfucker. Joe Rogan. So, excuse me. Sir, I think you're in my seat. Christopher Reeve, motherfucker. I ain't got time for this. I kidnapped the motherfucker, Christopher Reeve. I kidnapped the motherfucker.
Oh my God. Joey has the funniest one-line tweets, they're supposed to be like motivational, but they're still filthy. They're like totally dirty regardless, no matter what. He's just like, it's a great day. Now wake up, get out there, scratch your nuts, you cocksuckers. It's like, wait, what? Where'd that come from?
It's Monday, motherfuckers. Scratch your balls and take the life by the nuts. Like, what? And honestly, in 8 seconds, he tweets a better thing that more help inspirational than we do in an hour and 15 minutes.
That's true, yeah.
But I want to shoehorn that in, even though we're so low on time.
I forgot that he said Superman 2. That's so funny, though.
Every time I see someone says Dr. Octopus from Spider-Man 2 or Superman 2, which I watched recently, arguably the greatest film ever made. Every time you see Superman 2 or Spider-Man 2, arguably the greatest film ever made, I think of that every time someone mentions one of those sequels. I always think of that introduction, and it makes me laugh so goddamn hard.
It's funny,
especially because there were so few of those superhero movies out at the time. Like, it meant. Because you couldn't confuse superhero movies at the time like that. Now there's 80,000 of them, but at the time they're so radically different and far apart. And like, how could you? It's so funny.
Amazing.
Yeah, so funny to me. But I wanted to do that. Should we
speaking of movies, that definitely segues us into our final segment of the podcast, which is my favorite portion of the show, where Bob will give us a synopsis and then review a brand new film, probably from the 80s. So let's do it. If you're ready, Bob. Are you ready for At the Theater?
Popcorn and previews, movies and reviews at the theater. At the theater.
Sweet mother of pearl, Jesse. We are back with At the Theater. Arnold Schwarzenegger terrifies children. Are we recording?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
This is like when you started the podcast with Julia Roberts is a whore or whatever.
I did not say she's a whore. Julia Roberts is a prostitute. And I am grateful that you pointed out to the audience I'm repeating the same joke. And I will do that probably now forever.
Okay. That's not something you do.
Arguably it's the worst thing I ever do. We're talking about Kindergarten Cop from 1990. I thought it was later, but I was wrong. It was 1990. Kindergarten Cop. Let's waste no more time. Are you ready for Kindergarten Cop?
I'm ready, baby. It's not a tumor.
It's what?
It is not a tumor.
Oh, is that from the...
Isn't that from the film?
I don't recall.
Maybe it's a tumor. It is not a tumor. You just watched the movie.
Okay. Well, anyway, listen, let's waste no more time here. Let's do Kindergarten Cop.
All right, maybe I should do the synopsis.
Hold on a second. Let's just take it easy. I got everything under control. Okay. Kindergarten Cop. You're ready. I'm ready. I can dig it. She can dig it. We can dig it. You can dig it. Y'all can dig it. Let's do. Bam. Here's Kindergarten Cop. Okay. Kindergarten Cop from 1990 reminds us of a time when bringing guns to school was hilarious. Because, man, they have way too much fun with that, especially in the third act. I'm jumping the gun right now. In the third act, Arnold Schwarzenegger, it's a real fire drill, but two teenagers or adolescents in the 7th, 8th grade think it's fake. So they're making out, or they're necking, or they're heavy petting, if you will. Heavy petting.
Heavy petting.
For your Tom Green fans, heavy petting in the broom closet. And Schwarzenegger surprises them with a giant Austrian man, and he's Austrian in the film, by the way, just so you know. And he points a gun at them, and it's hilarious that he points a loaded weapon at the children and a gun. These were different times where also that probably was also not cool in 1990. Pardon me, coughing, hurting my hernia. This is Kindergarten Cop from the very beginning. Okay, we're in a shopping mall. I've mentioned Amazon.com earlier. This is like a physical version of like different physical stores you go to where they have everything, but you go into it, you understand. We're in a shopping mall and there's a bad guy, and you know he's bad because he has a ponytail, and that means bad. So Arnold Schwarzenegger is hunting him down, and then there's supposed to be a drug deal going on, and Ponytail, he kills like a stupid guy in the back room of a mall. And then Ponytail goes to visit his rich mom who's getting her hair done. And she's mean to the guy who's like a 90s homosexual because it's too over the top. They need to make him do the voice of this thing because it's hilarious. And the joke is that a man is not straight, LOL. So that she's mean to the not straight barber hair salon guy because it's a salon. And then Detective John Kimball. John Kimball. It's the greatest name in cinematic history. They say it 90 times and it's awesome every time. So John Kimball, he goes into to shoot Ponytail, and the mall cops all have guns too for some reason because they're just guns, and they're all like, "Hey, buddy, we're gonna call the police." And he's like, "No, I'm a police officer. Stop it! I'm gonna cop you idiot. I'm gonna cop you idiot, Detective John Kimball." And they're like, "We'll see about that." But anyway, he arrests Ponytail for killing a guy, and apparently he's been chasing Ponytail for being evil for years, and the mom is also evil. And then Kimball finds out that now he has to find Ponytail's ex-wife and the child, who's now 5, who's of the kindergarten age. This plays into the title of the film. For some reason, John Kimball meets this other lady, redhead lady, I forget her name, but she used to be a kindergarten teacher, so she's going to be an undercover substitute, and they're going to track down the ex-wife and the family and the child of evil Ponytail guy, because they don't want him to get out of jail. They need her as a witness to make sure this guy stays in jail and stops shooting guys in the back of the physical Amazon.com. So they go to Astoria, Oregon, not Astoria, Queens. This place isn't a dump. They go to Astoria, Oregon, and they go to the kindergarten. But what happens is the lady who's the cop, who is going to be the teacher, she gets food poisoning, and she's vomiting all over the place. And they don't show the vomit, but they suggest the vomit, not like in the Stand By Me where they show the actual vomit, but more like in the Goonies where they just talk about the actual vomit. So this is still in the trailing off the 80s, so everything has to be vomit. So she's vomiting on a plane, he's pulling over in the rain, and she's vomiting over there, she vomits in the gas station, she's just vomiting, and he has to go be the substitute teacher because his partner is vomiting, and now Detective John Kimball has to go in to the kindergarten and tell the mean old principal lady that she's like, we were expecting, they're all mad that he's a female, they're mad that he's a male kindergarten teacher. We were expecting a male, and he's like, I'm Detective John Kimball. I don't know. So anyway, so he starts teaching kindergarten, and surprise, he's bad at it. He doesn't understand. So, but one of the little girls has to go to the bathroom, and he's nervous, so he gets the 6th grade teacher who's sexually attractive, to help him out. And there's a romance, there's a love connection. They make googly eyes at each other, googly eyes, and meanwhile the puking lady still has food poisoning, and that's hilarious. And so he's having trouble with the kids, and he starts learning about the kids, and he's playing games to find out who their father is, because he really just needs to find Ponytail's estranged son. So he plays the games like, who is your daddy and what does he do? And then and then it gets kind of sad, right? It's a hilarious kids charming movie, and it gets kind of sad because so many kids were like, our parents are divorced. My dad left because I don't know if my dad left because I was bad, but our dad left and I miss him, and it's really, really sad. And you see John Kimball starting to feel bad for the kids, and he's getting a heart. He doesn't just want to shoot bad guys anymore. He's trying to help the kids. And at one point he has a headache, and this is strange. So the kid asks Arnold Schwarzenegger if maybe in his head Schwarzenegger would have like a malignant growth of some sort. You understand? And Schwarzenegger insists that it's not like a cancerous lump or a malignant growth. And it wasn't really a very quotable or memorable part of the film. But anyway, he assures the child that is not the diagnosis. So we move on, and one of the kids has like bruises on his arm. Apparently the dad is abusive and hits both the mom and the child, which is horrible. So Schwarzenegger comes out and he sees the dad and he punches him in the face, which is awesome. It's really great. But the thing is, that's like an entire other movie that just totally gets glossed over. And the principal takes him in, and there's no police investigation. He's not pulled from the undercover thing. She just says, what did it feel like to hit the son of a bitch? And he's like, oh, it felt very good. Oh, it felt good. I hit the man. And she's like, okay, great. And we never hear about this really colossal side story ever again. So anyway, the woman he has a crush on, the teacher he has a crush on, also has a kid in his kindergarten class, and the kid's name is Dominic, and of course they are the ex-wife and child of Ponytail. And he goes over to dinner at her house, and he has to be dishonest with her, even though he likes her, which he feels bad about, but he still has to be an undercover cop and find evidence so he can get them to be a witness and put Ponytail in jail. And it doesn't really work. And then Ponytail eventually gets out of jail because the other girl who was a friend of the guy Ponytail killed, she OD'd and died. And they see her blue corpse, not like Pepsi Blue, but the corpse blue. Because it's a funny kids movie, so we see her dead body in the morgue. And then so then Ponytail and his evil mom drive up to Astoria, Oregon, and they go to kidnap the kid. And this is where Schwarzenegger puts it into full gear because Puking Lady feels better. And they have a thing at the school where to tell kids not to talk to strangers. And then with Ponytail, what he does is he sets the library of the kindergarten on fire, or the entire school, because he's such an evil guy. He sets the entire school on fire, endangering his child's life, everyone's life, just to kidnap his own kid, right? And it's really horrifying. So, of course, he grabs the kid when there's all this confusion, because Schwarzenegger, he knows what's going on. He's trying to save Dominic, who's carrying Schwarzenegger's pet ferret. I forgot to mention the ferret. And he's got the ferret, but he's got to save all the kids, right? Because he's in a very bad predicament. So him and Pukin Lady and Dominic's mom are saving all the kids, but they know what's going on, and they're missing Dominic. And Schwarzenegger hunts him down into the gymnasium. But now the Ponytail has a gun at his own child's head, right? LOL. And then finally, what happens is the ferret crawls out of the kid's jacket and bites Ponytail on the face. So then Schwarzenegger takes the opportunity to shoot the kid's estranged evil Ponytail father in front of him, which won't do any damage whatsoever. And he kills Ponytail, but in the meantime, Schwarzenegger gets shot in the leg, and he's limping. And Pukin Lady already got hit by a car by Ponytail's mom. So Ponytail's mom comes in, and she's about to kill Schwarzenegger in the head, and she keeps shooting next to his head on purpose, breaking the tile of the bathroom. And there's urinals everywhere because the people pee in them with the penises and everything. And so she's shooting away, and she's about to kill Schwarzenegger. But Pukin Lady takes a baseball bat and beats this elderly, or 55, 60, I don't know, 60-year-old lady. So Pukin Lady beats the old lady with a baseball bat, LOL, and saves the day. I know. No one does. They just remember the part about the malignant growth, or whatever the line is. I can't think of it. If you think of it, you tell me later.
I will.
But anyway,
I'll put it in chat,
please. At Beachtown Comedy on Twitter. So
I'll email it to you.
Yeah. So they lived happily ever after, and Schwarzenegger's in the ICU, and the kids just know he's a substitute teacher, and all the kids are sad because they think their new beloved giant friend is dead. Ha ha ha. And so he's in the ICU, and Pukin Lady comes in with her fiance, who Schwarzenegger caught them having sexual fucking like earlier, and puking lady comes in with her fiance and says, "Hey, we're getting married, but where should we send the invitation?" Implying, do you want to go back to California and be a cop, or do you want to continue teaching kindergarten? And Schwarzenegger kind of made a face, and then he looks at the sixth grade whatever teacher with the child that he saved, and it implies that he's going to just move there and be a kindergarten teacher now with no teaching experience, who just punched his parents instead of going to the police, and that's what they suggest, and I believe that is all for Kindergarten Cop.
Wow, did they ever have a sequel to that?
They did. I have not. So supposedly in the last couple of years, there is a thing called Kindergarten Cop 2, starring Dolph Lundgren.
Oh my gosh, really?
And somebody else. There's two of them. That's the thing. There's two guys.
They had to get another like vaguely German bodybuilder to be the.
Yeah, they needed another terrifying Eastern European to terrorize the kids.
That's so weird.
But yeah, and it's somebody else too. So there's two of them. So it's like Kindergarten Cop 2, but Hollywood's too cool for direct sequels now, so they always have to put a twist. So this suggests there's two guys who are kindergarten cops now. And I think is it Martin Lawrence? It's not Kevin Hart, but he's too big for that stupid bullshit. But I think it's Dolph Lundgren and Martin. I think it's Martin Lawrence who are in.
I love Martin, so I would watch it just for Martin.
Yeah.
But that was a great synopsis, and there was so much that I didn't remember, especially the beating of the woman with the baseball bat. I don't recall them. I didn't remember it was such a violent film, but
oh god,
it sounds bad, and also kind of grim. A lot of abuse and children.
It is. Well, I tell you, but for the first third of it, this is actually a really charming, delightful film. It's really, he finds fun ways to get the kids to listen because the kids don't listen. They're in kindergarten. He doesn't know what he's doing. And the thing is, he has a good heart because he knows he's a big, terrifying Austrian to these kids. And he doesn't want to terrify the kids. So when he does get frustrated up top and goes, "Shut up," like they all start crying. And he's like, "Oh no." He knows he has to do the mission, but he doesn't want to upset these kids. And he does get involved, like with the kid who's being abused, or some kids are just like sad and weird and getting teased. Like he is trying to do as much good as he can while still staying focused. So he's not a bad guy. He's still a good hero. It's just this was a mission that he just didn't sign up for. Like literally, he was not supposed to be the teacher. Puking lady was supposed to do it. She got sick. So
now you hadn't seen this in a long time.
Not since whenever. Yeah, early.
Do you 90s. Was there a favorite moment or a favorite scene from watching it again that you know?
I liked it when
the malignant growth scene, or
yeah. For life of me, I wish that was one of the more quotable parts, but
it's not. Yeah, it's not memorable.
Yeah, so
but,
Schwarzenegger. I like when Detective John Kimball. I like when
he's always named John in every movie, isn't he?
Probably.
He's like John Matrix, John Kimball. It's like they just didn't want to get too crazy with the name.
I think is he Dutch or Duke? He's Dutch in Predator, right?
I think he's Dutch, but I'm assuming that's either a nickname or a last name or something. I don't think.
I think he's Duke. Name. Is he Duke in Commando? Does that sound right? Well.
In Commando.
He's
John. No, he's John Matrix.
John? Okay, yeah, my bad. Okay. What about Conan the Barbarian?
His name is John the Barbarian.
John the Barbarian. Right.
Yeah. Terminator 2, Liquid Metal John.
Is he?
No, I don't remember.
He probably has a letter and a number in his name, probably something like that. Yeah, I'm sure. Whatever. I can't think of it. Terminator 2 is on Netflix. I think I may watch that, but I don't want to go crazy with the Schwarzenegger films.
I meant to ask you. So
please.
Overall, sounds like a pretty good movie, and it was a great synopsis. I haven't seen it in so long. Can you give me like an overall review, or would you give me like a one sentence sort of summary of how you rate this film?
Okay, and keep in mind there's a lot going on here. So there's a lot to ingest. There's a lot of ins, a lot of outs, a lot of what have yous. A lot of different pieces to the puzzle in this bad boy, in this mamma jamma. It's
a lot of little different threads in Duder's brain.
Yeah. There's so much going on. Not unlike, I would compare it to Marvel's Avengers Endgame in reference to how many things are going on at once.
So many threads. A lot of timelines, a lot of
timelines. But if I had to pick one thing, arguably, the greatest film ever made.
That is high praise, and you never say that, which is that's incredible.
I don't like repeating things. The only thing I will repeat, honestly, is how great it is to have your choice of different sizes of Dr. Pepper versus Diet Dr. Pepper, which you can go to Coca-Cola.com right now.
So much soda consumption. You're like a crystal meth addict over there in that apartment.
I would have OD'd
guzzling sodas.
I would have OD'd in kindergarten, Cop.
Make sure you brush your teeth. So that was a great synopsis and a great film. Everybody rush out to the year 1990 and watch that for the first time, and I think you'll enjoy it. And let us know if you can remember what that malignant tumor line is. Bob, I think this was a great episode. Any final thoughts for our listeners, or where can people find you, Bob? I know you're in a Dewey Meadow right now, but where can people locate you online?
They can find me at Bob Hansen Jokes on Twitter and Instagram. I got good responses for my last Son Bob G.I. Joe episode about the demise of the Cobra Emperor Serpentor. That got us some good numbers and a good response. So more of those are coming, because I know a lot of people who watch this tend to.
That's awesome. Did you do the fun boxing one yet?
I did not yet.
Okay, I don't want to give it up, but there's a big surprise.
It's colossal. It's absolutely colossal. Fun boxing, probably the film this weekend on the way. Thanks to some very generous added gifts from my buddy Boba Hicks, Mark in Ireland. He actually sent me Fisto, and Fisto has a fist for a hand. His hand is a big fist. There it is.
Wow.
And there you can do with that what you will. And Evil Lynn, she's a very evil lady. Mm-hmm. She's a villain. She's evil. Her name is Lynn. Evil. You can do all the math. I love He-Man names. So thankfully to the much gratitude to Mark, who's extremely kind and generous to help me add to a very colossal fun boxing coming up soon. And I'm in La Mesa. Yeah, very nice guy. I'm in La Mesa this Saturday at Something Bar, Bolt Brewing Company. I'm in La Mesa. And next Wednesday, September 1st, Comedy Store La Jolla and I'm in 6 Pearl Street, Park at Bonds. Bobby's doing a 15-minute set there this next Wednesday in La Jolla Comedy Store.
That's fantastic.
Very good. Very good. Very
excited. That's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. Maybe I'll try to be there to see that.
Yeah. Where are you?
I got a couple shows coming up. You could check me out on social media at Jesse Egan Comedy on all social media, and I've got some little things up here and there. And you can also check out my special on Dry Bar Comedy. It's called That's the Spirit. And if you're would like to hear more of my voice in podcasting, doing different voices and different characters, then check out my other podcast called Awful Neutral. It's a comedy Dungeons and Dragons podcast with a group of stand-up comedians trying to play role-playing games. It's a lot of fun, so check that out. And we thank you guys for listening and supporting Beachtown. We've got a Patreon. We don't know what tiers or what to give away yet, but we'll figure it out. And if you have any suggestions, let us know. And also any other questions for mental health that you want to ask us and hear our ridiculous take on it, or any little things that you guys do, like grapes, to help with your mental health during the day and every day, we'd love to hear it. And also, just want to say thank you guys for supporting us, and I hope everybody has a great week, and keep an eye on your mental health. Any final words, GNR?
Are you eating other people's lunches? Stop it.